Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sunday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. And it is Tuesday here on the show. You know what that means? The world-famous Raw Report's coming up later. Got a lot of build to the Royal Rumble, which is coming up here in a few weeks. And in the meantime, tonight, obviously, NXT. We have got AEW Dynamite coming up on Wednesday. We've got SmackDown on Friday, Battle of the Belts and Collision on Saturday, New Japan, Battle in the Valley. Also coming up on Saturday night, there is an Impact Wrestling, which will now be TNA Wrestling, pay-per-view, Hard to Kill, coming up on Saturday as well, and a lot to get into. Now, one of the good things about New Japan Battle in the Valley is our own Filthy Tom Law War, as it says here on the front page. Filthy Tom Law War. He is wrestling on the show, and he will be our guest host here today. Mike Sempervive still recovering. Filthy was not on the show yesterday because I was unavailable. So he will be on the program coming up here after the break. So he'll talk about that show and why he dropped the L from his name and more. Also got notes on Cody Rhodes and the fact that The Rock and CM Punk are back heading into Mania. Got a story from Matt Riddle regarding the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. We've got an update on Rey Fenix, Andrade, a lot of ratings notes from the last several days, and of course, as noted, the world-famous Raw Report. If you want to text us here today, 425-780-7566 is the phone number. That is 425-780-7566. And I should mention that yesterday was the world-famous prediction show, and Steven from Yuma won, and I've heard nothing from him. So, Steven, if you're listening, you're the winner. Get a hold of me. Gunther breaking Anki's record, longest reigning IC champion of all time. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Leg drop.
Sorry, but you don't have your show yet.
That's it. Opinion. Damn, you gotta stop laying on your head like that.
Let's go, Treehouse.
Show your next turtle.
Turtle.
Broke for sure.
Figure four? A figure four? You can know the figure four? Uh-oh. Oh, he gets crossed.
Show Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Tom Lawyer is on the line right now. Is that a new gimmick, Tom? Are you a lawyer?
Get it right, please. Your journalistic integrity is on the line.
Tom Law War?
What is this? Your website misspelled my name?
They did spell it wrong. They spelled you Tom Law War.
Yeah.
The disrespect, Tom.
Listen, I'm
Wait till
used
you
to
see
it.
the front page when I post this show.
I've been disrespected for years and years, ever since before my UFC career. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm
What's
going to
that?
dust myself off, and I'm going to keep fighting on, because that's all I can do, Brian.
Well, what are you excited for this show? Are you excited? It's you and Jarrell Nelson and Hoyce Isaacs against your main man, Fred Rosser, the feud that will never end, Shota Umino, and Jacob Fatu. That guy's great.
I don't like any of the three of the guys on that other team.
Do you like anybody?
To be honest, I kind of like Hoyce.
I was going to ask. That was the one I was
Jarrell,
questioning.
I could take or leave him,
Wow.
but that's a good thing.
Yeah, so that's on the show. We got Volador and Mascara Dorada versus Rocky Romero and Soberano Jr. That sounds awesome. Dave Finley and TJP. I don't know if he's going to wear his mask or not.
The Oswong,
Yeah.
I believe it'll probably just be TJP.
Hikuleo and Phantasmo versus Clark Connors and Alex Coughlin for the strong openweight tag team titles.
Interesting that it's not also an IWGP.
Well, yeah, the belts were not unified, Tom. They are just double champions. And
winner
so-
take all match at
Yes.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
It was.
they hold both sets of belts. We got Julia against Trish Adora for the New Japan Strong Women's title. Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Dude Tito against Matt Riddle and a mystery partner who Dave believes. Well, we won't say.
Who does Dave believe? Did he say it on air?
He said Jeff Cobb.
It could be.
Could
But-
be. Could be me.
It
I don't
could
know.
be. My guess is Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin? Huh.
It's Matt Riddle and X. I
No,
believe.
everyone
Is it
should
not?
know. It's Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. Randy. It's going to be his partner. It's not going to be his partner. Eddie Kingston against Gabe Kidd for the AEW Continental Crown, which presumably is all three belts. No DQ match. John Moxley and Shingo. And then Okada and Will Ospreay is the main event. I really do wish I could go, but it's not going to work this weekend. I'll go next time. I'll make better plans. But that is this coming Saturday, Tom. You ready to rock and roll?
I am. I'm ready to finally get a W after my name.
When's the
here,
last time you
2024.
won?
I won 2 matches this past weekend.
Oh, you did? Okay. Who'd you beat?
Omega, and also Derek Neal and Ron Bass Jr.
I was going to say Omega.
That's right.
Which Omega was it? Frank Omega?
Let's just stick with Omega.
Okay.
What is it?
You got a big win over Omega.
That's right.
Excellent job. All right, well, tonight's NXT. We have got 2 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic matches. Nathan Frazier and Axiom will face Hank and Tank. I think we know where that one's going. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin will be facing Gallus. I think we know where that one's going. Tony D and Stax against Bronco Nima and Lucian Price. I presume that Tony D and Stax are retaining the tag team titles, but hey, you never know. Never know on that one, I'd say. And Cora Jade will face Gigi Dolan. That's the lineup for tonight's show. And then tomorrow is Dynamite. Samoa Joe will be at Daly's Place tomorrow. It is Sting and Darby versus Takeshi and Powerhouse Hobbs in a Texas Tornado match. A lot of people talking about this match because they're wondering, are Sting and Darby going to finally lose a match together? Is Sting going to put somebody over before he leaves? So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. We have 2 matches, which are tributes to Brody Lee, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Gates of Agony, against Orange Cassidy, Dustin Rhodes, Adam Copeland, and Preston Vance. And Chris Statlander, Willow.
How did Lance Archer get in there? I thought Lance Archer was with the Righteous now.
And he's teaming with the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage.
The Mogul Embassy.
And then Statlander, Willow, Anna Jay, and Thunder Rosa in a return to Dynamite faces Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Soraya, and Ruby. We got Ricky Starks, Sammy Guevara, and Claudio Castagnoli versus Hangman Page. So, big lineup for Wednesday coming up here. Tom, what did you think of SmackDown this week? We won't do the full report, but what did you think of that main event? We got a 4-way for the Royal Rumble.
I thought it was the best SmackDown of the year, by far.
Really? Well, I mean, it's only the 9th. Talking about the calendar year?
Thank you, Brian.
Are you going to be like that?
No,
Hey,
I thought it was.
a really
a
good
great
SmackDown.
show. Yeah, I thought it was. It might have been the best in the past year. The matches were good. The main event was good. What else? There was the Io Sky and Mia Yim match. I thought was great. So there was good in-ring action. I thought it moved a lot of storylines further along. And
Let me ask you, Tom, since you mentioned it. I thought that Michin and Io Sky was quite great, and I thought Michin looked really good in that match. And then people tell me, she didn't look that good at all. It was all Io Sky. I was like, was I watching a different match? That was like the best Michin match I've ever seen in WWE. And it wasn't all because of Io Sky. Like, they gave her a ton. I thought she looked really good.
yeah, because Michin had time. She was in a marquee spot, which rarely happens for her. She's been in some, big matches, but they've been primarily multi-person matches. So this was a big opportunity for her, and I thought she looked great. Her offense looked good. She's believable as somebody who's out there fighting other professionals. And, I mean, how can you say a bad word about her? She is the one that got that finish over more than anything else. She ate, she ate the pavement about as hard as you could on that suicide dive.
Yeah, she sure did splat on that thing.
So I thought it was a great showing by her, and I hope she gets more chances in these main event opportunities because she delivered.
Yes. The 2-minute review, Kevin Owens beats Santos Escobar, so he's going to be facing Logan Paul coming up at the Royal Rumble for the title. We had Lashley and the Street Profits turning babyface. They'll be facing, they've been babyface. It's official now. AOP is back with Paul Ellering. They have united with Scarlett and Karrion Kross. We had the debuting Tyler Bate. Him and Butch beat Pretty Deadly. And then the main event was LA Knight, AJ, and Randy to determine number 1 contender. We had a ref bump. Roman and his crew ran in. Nick Aldis calmly sat and watched it all. And then he told Paul Heyman, let your buddy know when he's done celebrating. It's a fatal 4-way at the Royal Rumble. So LA Knight, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Roman Reigns 4-way. That's the match. That show drew 12,909 for that SmackDown there, which is turn that.
I have it off.
Who is that?
Josh Bishop.
Oh, again?
Yeah.
God. Give me a break.
What's up with this guy?
I don't know. What's up with him?
Great SmackDown.
Yeah, it was a great show. It did a very, very good number because, in fact, I think a lot of people tuned in thinking there might be a follow-up to what happened with The Rock, which was basically Roman being asked about it, and he laughed and moved on. And then Paul Heyman, he cut a promo later on The Rock, so it's happening, everybody. In one form or another, Rock and Roman Reigns appears to be happening this year at WrestleMania. So how that all plays into Cody finishing his story and CM Punk wanting to main event WrestleMania? I guess we shall find out. Back with more Observer Live.
Years of my career, I was discredited because of my age and the amount of time I spent in the sport. But I think there's honestly, a vast group of people that are wrestling fans that have no idea that when I was on the independent circuit, I was driving 12 hours, 4 times a week to wrestle in front of 20 people with 20 freaking teeth combined. And I earned my spot. And sure, it might not have taken me as long as some of the guys that were sunning me that were, let's be honest, never was 30-milers. But I earned my spot. I don't care that I'm 27. I've been doing this now for almost 10 years, and while it might have only been 10 years, I study this sport ad nauseum, and I respect this sport so much. I won't say more than anybody else, because when you look at the show tonight, you know that this locker room respects the sport. But the reason that I did that is because I faced that adversity so much, not just from wrestlers, but from fans, because they're like, oh, this kid's a little, I am young. I absolutely am young. But I study this sport ad nauseum. I like to believe I understand this sport, and it is my goal to go down, not just as the greatest AEW World Champion of all time, but it's my goal to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And to top it off, one of the Creative Pro Wrestling students contacted me and said that a guy on an independent card he was with was bullying him and saying, what do you know? Who are you? I've been doing this for 20 years. Yeah, you've been doing it for 20 years in a gym, you fucking dick. How about cut that kid some slack and don't bully him? And also, by the way, the guy's like a 30-miler, like literally only wrestles once every like 4 months, but pretends he was a veteran. I'm not going to name names. The bottom line is this. Not just this sport, but in every line of work, I feel like ageism isn't just for elderly, it's also for young people. There are a lot of young journalists in this room that I am very positive face a lot of bullshit because they go, well, what do you know? How long have you been a journalist? Fuck you. How long was Michael Jordan in the NBA before he was one of the greatest basketball players of all time? How long was Maxwell Jacob Friedman on national television before he was one of the best professional wrestlers of all time? That is my goal. That is what I strive for. That's why I made that tweet. Sorry for the really long rant.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. A couple of notes on the ratings for this weekend. Rampage did well, 406,000 and a .14 on Friday night. And that actually beat Collision this week. Collision did 402,000 and a .13. So Rampage beat Collision. Now, Collision did have NFL competition on Saturday night, but no UFC, no WWE, and there was no major sports competition for Rampage. So that.
You know what's funny is that on Rampage, there was a Hardys and Mark Briscoe taking on Kip Sabian, Butcher and the Blade match. And later on, after the Hardys and Mark Briscoe won, Renee interviewed the Hardys, and Jeff said, maybe you need to get us on Dynamite to boost those ratings.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, hey, they boosted those ratings on Rampage by not having sports competition.
I believe in my notes I actually had it written to make fun of that line, but, well, he did his job.
Yes, he did. Now, SmackDown did a giant number, 2.5 million viewers, which was up 80. That doesn't really count because it was a best-of episode, but still. 0.67 and 18 of 49. Man, that best-of. You know, it still did like 1.3 million.
Best of? That was the week before.
Yeah, it's up from the best of.
Oh.
Yeah. Up 132%, by the way, from that best of. Top Doll TV in 18 to 49. And second in terms of total viewers behind only ABC's 2020. I didn't even know that was still on the air.
What?
Yeah. That's news to me. Is that really still on the air? 2020?
What do you think, they're lying to you?
Hey, listen, it's on the front page, brother.
Well,
I had a
I don't know
typo
if I
here and
trust
there.
that.
So
Somebody go to Fightful and see what it says on there.
Oh, would you stop? A couple of notes on different individuals. Ray Fenix did an interview. He's been out of action 3 months. And he was interviewed by Denise. And he says, we're working on the recovery. I think it's the worst injury. But I'm taking my time, doing a good job in recovery. I put everything with the doctors, following the doctor's line, doing my best. I can't talk about much, but soon I will be in the ring, doing Lucha Libre, the thing that makes me happy. So hopefully he's back soon. He was a mess when he finally had to take time off. And then Andrade. So, a couple of weeks ago we said, it's Andrade's last day, that AW pay-per-view. He'll probably be on Raw Monday. He wasn't. And this coming weekend, he was supposed to be at GCW, but he has been pulled due to, quote, circumstances out of control. I think that's supposed to be out of our control. Or maybe everything's just out of control. But I think the dude's debuting on SmackDown. I mean, it would make more sense. Even though his wife is injured, she's on SmackDown. And, they've got the whole thing with Ray and Santos and Los Lotharios. And, I think that they could find a place for Andrade. And Zelina is on the show. And she has also teased the possibility of Andrade coming back to SmackDown. So I think a decent chance that he's going to be on the show this coming Friday.
There's a lot of movement in and around that LWO angle.
Yeah, they're
Is
sure.
there not?
They're sure. We got
Rey Mysterio's in the hospital. Carlito's in NXT. Dragon Lee's in NXT and on SmackDown. The Los Lotharios are now with Santos Escobar. After Santos Escobar turned his back on his former charges, Del Toro and Cruz, and
who are now
Zelina
in NXT
Vega.
for the time being.
And now Andrade seems like he's going to be interjected into this as well.
Yes.
I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. Everything's been pretty good revolving around that. So,
I will
guess the
say,
more the merrier.
I will say, one of my favorite stories of the last 6 months is when Los Lotharios were in NXT and they kept losing and losing and losing. And then finally they did the repackaging. They kept having dreams of their grandfather. And he was accosting them in their dreams. He was scratching the bejesus out of them. And, that happened to me. I'd go straight to a priest. But they went to a tattoo parlor, and they got, the scratches tattooed on their chest. And they disappeared for a while. And then they make their big return. And I thought, all right, are they going to be the Garzas? Are they going to be, what are they going to be? They come back as Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. No team name. And so I tweeted about it. I said, so after all that, all those vignettes, all those weeks, they returned, and their new gimmick is Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. And of all people, Angel Garza responded to my tweet, and he said something like, for now. As in, we're going to have a team name here pretty soon. This was months ago. And here they are now on SmackDown. and they are Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Let's get a name. Let's get something cool, like, me and Tom were the Chop and Roll Express. We got a lot of bookings because we had a cool name, matching gear.
Yeah, they could
Didn't get the matching tats, but maybe that's next.
Dos Lotharios.
Sure.
Since,
What kind of tattoo could we get for our team, Tom? A big hand? That reminds me. Did you watch Raw?
I watched the Hulu version.
Okay. Did they cut our main man, old Choppin' Ginger? Or Jinder?
Oh, he was out there.
Yeah,
he was
brother.
out there with Seth.
He's coming back. Let me tell you all the story. Didn't hear Observer Radio last night. So yesterday, we did the prediction show. Remember the prediction show? We do it every year. Well, let me find these predictions from 2023. This was yesterday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. We were trying to, pick a winner. Ryan from Ann Arbor, in January of 2023, made this prediction for 2023. Former WWE champion Jinder Mahal will return to the main event scene and fight for the title again, but he will be hindered and not win. This was yesterday at noon. I laughed and laughed at how wrong this guy was and what a fool he was. And then, mere hours later, Jinder returns to Monday Night Raw, and he's getting a world title match next week. Now, granted, the guy can't win anyway because it's 2024, which is even more freaking preposterous when you think about it.
Time's up.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Well, his time's up, but it was funny enough, the idea that would happen in 2023. It happened in 2024. Wow. I should give that guy the prize if we don't hear from the guy that actually won.
No.
Because I ain't giving it to Ryan.
He didn't. This did not happen in the time frame. Sure,
know.
he came back and he was approached by The Rock, but I don't think you could say that put him into the main event scene until
But here's
now.
the problem, Tom. Nobody else got anything right. So he literally is the runner-up, unless we count the band Ryan and Cumberland, who made an idiot easy prediction, shouldn't even count.
What was his prediction?
Well, like a week or two before it happened, he said Keanu and Fallon would win the NXT tag team titles. So that's like me predicting that Jinder's not going to beat Seth and then being the winner.
Didn't someone predict that Naito would beat Sonata for the title here or something?
The Naito would beat Sonata?
Yeah.
No, someone predicted somebody else was going to win the G1. It's too late, but do you have a prediction for 2024, Tom?
A prediction for 2024. Well, you usually pick something wild in order to try to win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Someone actually won making a prediction about you that one year. Tara.
I think Mercedes Moné and Naomi win the women's tag titles.
In WWE?
Yes.
Okay. That's Tom's prediction. Sasha and Naomi. You said Mercedes, so it shouldn't count.
After all these years,
yeah, right.
they will return to the main event scene of the women's tag division in WWE.
All right. Well, we'll find out sooner rather than later, everybody. Sooner rather than later. I could also give the victory to myself because I said that 2023 would be remembered as not a bad year at all. And compared to previous years, it wasn't.
One of the worst years of my life professionally. So,
Tom, you've cried way more in previous years.
Not a big fan of 2023.
I don't think you cried once in 2023 on the air.
I live a lot of my life off the air, my friend.
Well, that's true. But, you had years bad enough that you wept on air. So that had to be worse. Dude, that UFC thing was the worst year that could happen to anybody. That was horrible. You were a victim is what you were. Terrible. Back in a moment with Raw. Observer Live.
Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. We saw pretty much the start of your career during kind of the tail end of the pandemic shows. Now, obviously, you're a champion. Can you just talk about your from basically going from training school right to TV and how that has kind of changed from when you started as the cheerleader and now, obviously, as a member of the House of Black?
Oh, the cheerleader. Yeah, I think before I was training at the Nightmare Factory, I had maybe 5 matches on the indies ever, and then next thing you know, I was on TV. So it was a really big jump, and you guys all saw my growth on TV, which a lot of people you don't see. All of their growth is on the indies, and then they make it to TV. But you guys saw me at some of my lowest lows, doing the cheer thing, and then finding myself and elevating myself. So yeah, you guys saw it all, I guess. But I'm very proud of myself now, and I did always see myself going this path, and I can't believe I'm doing it this early on in my career. I told myself, oh, when I'm 26, I hope I'm on TV. And 22, winning a belt, man, I'm trying not too hard to think about it because it's just so crazy. So, yeah.
Hi, Julia. Iman with LA Excise. Congratulations on becoming TBS champion. MJF, when he was here previously, talked about ageism in wrestling. He's 27, you're 22, you could be a senior in college. Have you experienced any obstacles due to your age, or maybe people not taking you seriously? And if so, how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, I think being with the cheer gimmick, it was really hard to even take myself seriously, and I wasn't confident, and I've always felt just like the little guy. I still am the little guy, and I'm still learning every week and every time I'm in the ring, and I love everybody's critiques. I really appreciate it. So, I mean, what was the question? Sorry.
Have you had any challenges, maybe?
Oh yeah, I remember coming to the back after my matches as a cheerleader, and people would just be like, "You'll get it eventually. Like, it's okay." And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not confident in myself. I don't know what's happening." So, I think it was just finding my darker side to really take it out of me. So now I come back from my matches, and people are like, "Good job. You're figuring something out." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God I'm doing something right now," because it was a long path to find me doing something right. So.
Show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Well, we got the world-famous Raw report to do here. You can tell me what was and was not on the show last night, Tom. Open up with Drew McIntyre in the ring, and he does this long promo about how, you know what, I thought about leaving after I lost to Seth, but it wasn't my fault. This Damian Priest tried to cash in because he's an idiot. Why would you do that during the match, he said. You should have waited till afterwards. You might have actually won, but instead you screwed yourself and me. Maybe I should leave and come back in 9 years and be a hero, he says. So out comes Punk. And he says, what do you want to say? So Drew says, well, you know, got a bet with some guys in the back. You're going to crash and burn, self-destruct, cost a lot of people a lot of money. Maybe you and Seth have a lot in common. He says, I traveled with you for years. I know the real Punk. I know what you're really like. There was a time where I needed a leader, and you walked around calling yourself the locker room leader, but you were afraid. You saw me as a threat. I never got no help from you. Punk said, he claimed, I've called myself a lot of things in life, but a leader was never one of them, he said. I lead by example. He said, you follow my lead on the way out, I'll follow your lead on the way back in. Going to win the Rumble, main event mania. You're upset, just like Seth. He says, I can be Satan himself. If you're one of the people who saw that side of me, that says more about you than it does about me, he says. Because I'm a nice guy until it's time not to be. And since it's looking to be that time, I'm out of here. Who writes these promos? This guy deserves an award. So Drew says, I've won the Rumble. I've main evented Mania, something you've never done. You know, this place shut down. They needed somebody to step up. I did it. If you'd been around, you would have left too. When the going gets tough, Punk gets going. In the Rumble, I'm going to eliminate you. I'm going to go back to the main event of WrestleMania, win the title in front of fans, and this time it'll be for me. The place goes nuts cheering for Drew. Punk says, I'm going to lead by example and walk away before I knock your teeth down your throat. There's only one person that can stop me, says CM Punk. That's me. I got out of my own way a long time ago. I was dying during this promo. Nobody can stop me from winning the Rumble. And leader to leader, 'cause I'm a nice guy. If only he had muffins. That would have made this thing even better.
Some ice cream bars.
About to throw him out last. That was something else, that promo right there. That was something else. Then we had Ciampa and Finn Balor. And Ciampa, of course, cuts a promo saying that it's a must-win for them. So they had a good match. Priest tried to interfere. Gargano took him out. They double-teamed him. Finn tried to suplex in from the apron. It was Bobby Heenan and Ultimate Warrior grabbing the foot, fall on top, 1, 2, 3. Ciampa wins. And so I don't know what the heck's going to happen. I think they're going to get a title shot at some point, but I don't think it's next week.
They pushed that on commentary as well. So I would have, and Rhea brought it up backstage.
Well, it's weird how they do this thing in WWE now. It's like you win a non-title match or whatever, you don't necessarily get a title match.
This is a singles contest.
Well, sure, but you beat one half of the tag team champions, brah. Should get something out of that, right? I think so. Becky did a promo. She said, Nia told me to imagine what would happen if she put her full weight behind that punch. Well, she did. And she bloodied my mouth. She beat me. But I didn't go to the hospital. I declared for the Rumble. And the last time you punched me, I went to the hospital, but I did come back to win the Rumble. I'm stronger now, or maybe you're weaker. One way or another, I'm going to win the Rumble. Ludwig Kaiser and Kofi Kingston. So Vinci's hurt. He got concussed. He'll be out a while. That was last week. So Ludwig wants revenge. And they had a match. Stupid finish. They're going to do a double countout. But like at 9, Kofi dives into the ring. And his entire upper body is in the ring. Which in every other match, and they do this all the time now because they got it from New Japan, that breaks the count. But this guy slides halfway to the ring, and the ref goes, nah, double count out. And Kofi says, what? What are you talking about? And so he dives onto Kaiser. They have a brawl, and then Kaiser throws a chair at him, beats him up, running drop kick, puts his head into the steps, and he does a promo backstage saying, it's Kofi's fault that I'm the only one here right now. I'm carrying the weight of Imperium. He took Vinci's head, so I took his. Poor Kofi looks like he'll be out of action. Probably to the Rumble. When he'll try to do another wacky stunt. And I think we've learned our lesson about that one, haven't we?
Brian, I'd like to take a moment if I could.
Yes, Tom.
Since everyone else is doing it as well, I declare for the Royal Rumble.
Great!
I have officially declared myself as I'm available.
Somebody
to
put on the front page, Filthy Tom Law War has declared for the Royal Rumble. Bring your license, Tom. Bring your license so they can confirm that you're Filthy Tom Law War. And we had Cole interviewing Nia. Said, I'm not shocked by what happened last week. Of course I beat Becky. And I'm going to throw out 29 women, win the Rumble. So Rhea comes out. And Rhea says, you talk a big game, but you know what happened last year in the Rumble? I threw you out. You beat Becky, which is great, but Becky isn't Rhea. So if you want to step up to me, go for it. Otherwise, stop walking around like you own the division, because you don't. So Nia says, I'll give you credit. Might be the most dominant champion in history, but I put you on your butt when I came back. You're too scared to face me one-on-one. When I win the Rumble, I will choose you. I can't wait for that one at WrestleMania. That one. Australia, everybody. They can get that big match. Cody promo, he gets attacked by Shinsuke. Then we had Chelsea and Piper versus Katana and Caden. Tag title rematch. Too bad Mike's not on the show to tell us how much Caden and Katana suck. I thought they were good in this match.
It's the finish, that keg stand. What is that thing?
It's a keg stand. She has a handstand on her buddy's shoulders and falls into a splash. It's not her fault Chelsea was in Indiana.
She landed knees to Chelsea.
Yeah, she was so freaking far away. She was totally in the wrong spot. That was Chelsea's fault. 100%. What are you talking about, Tom? Oh, did you and I ever do that move? Should have. Maybe we would have actually won a match. Anyway, I thought this match was good. It was way better than the first match they had. A lot of cool spots.
Super Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
A Hurricane Rana off of Caden's shoulders to Chelsea on the top rope. That was death-defying.
You know, my new favorite thing in wrestling is when people do spots off someone else's shoulders who's the same height as the top rope or lower. It's like, we saw it in, what match was that? I just saw it. Somebody did like a superplex off somebody's shoulders, but like the person was as tall as the top rope, so it was the exact same height, but people still marked out. And then this one here, it's like Caden's shorter than the top rope, and Katana did that super Frankenstein, and people went nuts. Brian Keith, that's who it was, yeah. But anyway, I like this match.
It's about the illusion.
That was an illusion, all right.
I'm not sure if you know this or not, but it's a work.
The problem is I do know that, so the illusion is like, that's not impressive. Come on. Caden Carter's like 4'3". That's much lower than the top rope. And we had a Truth video package about his life in the Judgment Day. You know, Judgment Day is a hot faction. And Truth came back, and he started doing all this goofy stuff. And at first I was like, oh, God, do we really need this? Like, let's do it for a week and, like, get it over with. Do some stupid comedy somewhere else. But they've now been doing it for, like, 3 or 4 weeks, and the fans are eating it up. They are so into Truth as a member of the Judgment Day. Also because they hate JD. But
and they love The Miz.
Oh, stop. So
are you going to say that the crowd did not love The Miz here?
They were in a Miz tonight. I don't know what's wrong with them. So, yeah, Truth does this segment, and then they cut back to the Judgment Day, and JD's furious, and Priest is laughing. He goes, I got to admit, that's pretty good. And so Rhea's not happy. So we got to give up on this thing. And Priest says, when the time comes, I'll take care of it. So they get an argument about Drew, and Rhea once again says, we don't want Drew on our bad side. And he says, well, we don't want Nia on our bad side. So Rhea says, I'll take care of her. JD, you got to take care of The Miz. So it's JD and The Miz. And I think that The Miz, because he's like getting a lot more TV time now, like he's got some motivation, because he's like, he's trying, but everything he does still looks terrible, but he's trying. And the fans, you know, they cheer him and everything. It just blows my mind. The Miz is a babyface. It's like, okay. So Miz drop kicked him in a dom, threw him in the ring, skull-crushing finale. Miz pins JD. So now Judgment Day, they're furious, and Finn says, listen, this has got to end. It does. We had a long Seth promo. They were expecting like loud CM Punk chants, and they barely got any. You could sort of kind of hear it. And so he had to acknowledge, and he goes, in his dreams. So that's clearly the Mania match, but the fans, they don't seem to be that into it right now. So suddenly out comes Jinder Mahal. And yes, there is a World Championship match on Raw next week. It is Seth Rollins against Jinder Mahal. Huh. Okay. All right.
You think Jinder's winning?
No. Are you nuts? We had a great little battle. It was a big battle. Otis and Ivar.
Oh, this was not on the Hulu version.
Oh, God.
You can't fit this kind of battle into 90 minutes, I guess.
Dude, this ruled. Crowd's chanting meat. They're pummeling each other. This giant Ivar tries a middle rope springboard high cross. Otis catches him, crushes him with the world's strongest slam. Then Otis goes up top. Ivar goes underneath him, running Liger bomb. Crushes him. And then Otis hits the roll. He hits the big lariat. He shakes his hips. You saw me do that. He goes for the caterpillar. He hits it. But then they have a striking battle, and it's a good one. Ivar spin kick, goes up top, moonsault, pin. Well, you know why? Because Ivar spent the weekend at Cannon Beach eating at Susie Scoops, and he was all carved up and ready to go, brother. I loved it. Jey Uso promo, he gets challenged by Bronson Reed. Then the main event was Cody, Shinsuke, street fight. 25-minute match. It was a very good match. Crowd wanted tables. You know how these crowds are. So, of course, Cody gets the table. We had nunchucks. And then Nakamura, he tries to blow miss, but he hits our timekeeper, Berkeley. Which is my new favorite name, Berkeley. Which turns out Berkeley is Cody's cousin. So Cody's very concerned. He goes to get help. And so they fight some more. And then Nakamura hits the sliding German jumping knee. Cody hits a super kick out of nowhere, pedigree. Cody cutter. Nakamura fights back, goes for the running knee. Cody avoids it. Through the table. On the outside, Berkeley laughs. Ha-ha! He got his. And then Cody hits a crossroads. Gets the pin. Very good main event. Very good main event. Looks like the feud is over for now. Good Raw. Good Raw. And all the best to Berkeley. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Except for this one. Let's go, buddy.
What a jobber. What a jobber.
Well, Tom Law War, what do you got coming up in the near future? What do you got coming? I heard you declared for the Royal Rumble. Anything else?
I declared for the Royal Rumble this Saturday, as you mentioned earlier. New Japan Professional Wrestling Battle in the Valley. I will be there. The first fight on the main card on pay-per-view, so check that out if you have a chance. And if you're in Spokane, Washington next week, I won't be there. You won't be? No. I'll be defending the Relentless heavyweight title against Timothy Thatcher.
God, good luck, dude. It's probably going to be like 12 feet of snow over there next weekend. So, ain't no way I'm going over there.
There's going to be 12 feet flying at Tim Thatcher's face, too, courtesy of me.
You have 12 feet?
Not at once.
Huh. That was a weird threat. You should do a promo on Timothy Thatcher. Tim, I'm going to have 12 feet flying at your face Saturday night in Yakima or Spokane or wherever it is. And, of course, don't forget Battle in the Valley, everybody. Coming up on Saturday night. Lots of big stuff on that show, including Okada and Will Ospreay. They're in the main event. Filthy Tom, Jarrell Nelson, Hoist, Gracie Isaacs, against Shota Umino, Fred Rosser, and Jacob Fatu. So, I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. I want to thank you all for listening here today. I'll be back later on tonight. Brian, Vinny, Granny, Craig. I think Sean is still ill. God, the illness is just taking out everybody in the Empire. But we got Stardom to review tonight. Hopefully it works this time. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.